It's going to be better if you come back and play another year. It's going to keep plummeting.
Probably.
Okay, these others sort of blow my mind. First, Spencer Rattler. He's got Brown.
I mean, he's not going to the NFL.
Brown. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. Spencer Rattler.
He's not going to the NFL for sure. So if South Carolina wants him back, and after watching him play this year, I don't know if they want him back or not. I've got a really good friend of mine that's a South Carolina fan, and I was texting with him during the Florida-South Carolina game Saturday night, saying it's sad that your punter has thrown the best pass of the night for you. And he said, while you're right, and while I would love to pin this on Rattler, our offensive line is atrocious.
And in fairness to Will Levis, Kentucky has given up 39 sacks, and they haven't played Georgia yet.
I can't believe they've given up 39, because I was going to say it's a lot with it. I think 24 for South Carolina, 39.
39 sacks of Will Levis, and he can run a little bit, and smart enough as a first-round draft pick to throw it away, and still giving up 39 sacks, and they're about to play Georgia.
I think it shows you how good of an offensive coach Lincoln Riley is, because Spencer Rattler that first year at times looked pretty good.
Anthony Richardson has 2 years of eligibility
It's another guy
left.
that has been in some of these mock drafts in the first round. I don't know what kind of year they versus what they thought he would have that he's had. He's had some really good moments, though. I mean, I will say at Texas A&M and then the other night against South Carolina, he might be playing some of the best ball he's played this year.
3 more. KJ Jefferson has 2 more years left.
Needs to come back.
And at times looks really good. I just wonder if any of these guys are clogging up the next big guy, right? Your 5-star, like LSU has a 5-star recruit, but obviously you're going to ride with Jaden Daniels, right? Is any of these guys, Stetson Bennett, like clogging up the pipeline of guys who are coming in? Here's one. Will Rogers has 2 more years of eligibility left.
You know what? He could rewrite record books with that offense.
He has, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, but he could put it in. I don't know where he is a SEC all-time leading passer. I don't think he's there yet.
The all-time leading passer, is it Case Keenum?
I thought it was, in college football. Yeah. You're just talking about in college football.
Yeah, I'm talking he can make that kind of run.
I think Will Rogers passed.
I don't know if my numbers are going to be updated here.
I think Will Rogers passed somebody in the SEC this year, but he's got 2 years if he wants to come back. And the other guy's got 2 years left if he wants to come back is Bryce Young at Alabama.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I know he's got those years.
I brought it up last week.
You did.
I don't think it'll happen.
I thought he only had 1 left, but he's got 2 left. So with 2 years left, KJ Jefferson, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Rogers. Just think of I guess maybe even the portal opportunity if those guys had. If Will Rogers says, "Man, I've had enough here. I'm going to go somewhere else," but he won't want to do that. It's pass happy offense.
I think Will Rogers. I've just had to do quick math here. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 9,900 yards. He passed Casey Clausen, is who he passed there. So his next mark is Eli Manning at 10,000. If he played next year, if Will Rogers plays next year, he'll be the SEC all-time leading passer if he doesn't get hurt, because the record is 13,000 with Aaron Murray, and Rogers should be able to get to 10,000 career yards before the season is over. So if he wants to be the SEC all-time leading passer, he can do it.
Case Keenum is that guy, 19,000 yards. You think he can
get to 19,000? I mean, he's going to be at 10-ish at the end of this year. I mean, that's 2 4,500-yard years. I guess he could do that, yeah, in that offense.
James points out on Twitter, obviously Bryce is gone. Levis should go because it's a weak quarterback class. If you stay another year, any of these guys who think they have a draft stock, you could be going against Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Quinn Ewers in the future.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Levis can do anything but hurt his stock. The way he's played this year, or maybe he can't hurt his stock the way he's played this year.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I really don't know what to say about him.
Interesting from Connor O'Gara last night. That's our show today. We appreciate you guys being with us. Don't forget, Thursday night is Bud Light game night. We're at Mugshots in Vestavia. Your chance to come out and hang out with us 5 to 7. Enjoy some great food and conversation. And, of course, the ice-cold Bud Lights and Michelob Ultra. So make plans. It's in Vestavia right there off of 31. It's Mugshots for Bud Light game night. NextRound.store for all the gear perfect for this holiday season. Buy those Christmas gifts there. NextRound.store. Thank you to getting us over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Remember to keep spreading the word, get other people to sign up. And there's Rockstar eating a banana to end the show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So much to get to on the show as we approach another NFL and college football weekend. Last night in basketball, Texas demolished Gonzaga in their new beautiful building they built on campus there.
Bless the moon.
A beautiful basketball facility. Arkansas beat the best group of 5 team out there. UAB got a win. We'll talk basketball later in the show. Charles Barkley is in with us today. He's with us at 9:25, the very next segment, 9:25 Central Time as we get going today. But we'll start with the Auburn search and what's going on in college football. I'm Jim Dunaway. That's Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Lunsford, Forrester, and, of course, Taylor Korn answering all your questions on Twitter at Next Round Live and on Instagram, the IG at Next Round Live, YouTube. Like and subscribe there as we went over 10,000 subscribers there yesterday. Thank you guys so much. Remember to hit the thumbs up button when you're there every day, and that helps us out. If the people that are following this, it seems like we're one day closer to the guy a lot of people want being at Auburn. 1 week from tonight, a lot of people believe now that Lane Kiffin may be coaching his last game as the Ole Miss head coach 1 week from tonight on Thanksgiving night. The latest on what you're hearing.
I think as it has been for a while, Lane Kiffin is certainly the leading candidate in this deal. From talking to people last night, it feels a little bit closer to being done. A lot of people yesterday were speculating that the deal was already done. Deal in place, just waiting for that week to pass. Maybe the case. I'm not denying that it is. But from the people you talk to who might not have believed the deal was already done, they believe it's closer now than it was. And this coming from both sides. I think the feel is that this is Lane Kiffin's job unless something in the 11th hour happens, unless there's something that goes bump in the night, unless Ole Miss comes back and says, hey, we'll name the stadium after you. There's always something that can change it. But if nothing like that changes it looks like it is Lane Kiffin's job.
To me, the most fascinating thing is, and one of the reasons I thought Lane wouldn't take the job, and again, it still is not a done deal, was because of not having full autonomy. Behind the scenes, are you guys hearing that the boosters have said, hey, look, we're going to back up, you can have this thing? I still find that hard to believe.
I am not. No, I don't think, but I'm not certain he's – I guess he's got that at Ole Miss. I don't know that he's got what you would call full autonomy. Full autonomy is, I guess it's kind of like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, right? Do I know I have it until I'm told no?
The perception is that Nick Saban has it, where if Nick Saban decides, hey, I want to pay this coach this amount of money, does he really have to check with anybody? He may tell them after the fact, hey, I'm going to hire Ryan Brown as an assistant, and I promised him $1.2 million. Now you go and do everything that you legally have to do to make that contract happen.
Here's his banking information. He'll like it in direct deposit starting next Friday.
And then you sign off on it, and you go to the Board of Trustees and get it full. Oh, if we need a new building, if we need this, we need that. That's been the perception of Nick Saban since he got to Tuscaloosa. That's the kind of stuff Billy Napier was asking for in places like Auburn and didn't get, stayed at Louisiana. Then he apparently has gotten that in Gainesville. So if I want to hire 62 off-the-field analysts, I can hire 62 off-the-field analysts, and you guys figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah, I think, again, you don't know you got full autonomy. Or you think you've got it. You think you've got it until you're told no for something.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You never really know you have it.
That's right.
Until you get somewhere.
Until somebody says, "No, we're not going to do that, Coach," and you're like, "Well, now wait a minute. I was told I'd have full autonomy."
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know who told you that, but I got to sign off on this. I ain't signing off on it.
Or hey, that's great. We cannot build it. We can't build it. We don't have that money.
Yeah.
At some point your bank account's out. That whatever it is, but full autonomy is in the eyes of the beholder. You're right.
Absolutely, it is.
One thing is 100% true though is yesterday, some Ole Miss folks got a little, I guess, upset or water in the face about what Chris Lowe of ESPN said on our show here yesterday. We'll reflect real quick what Chris said here yesterday, And then Chris quickly was on Twitter yesterday afternoon. It was a few hours after this comment on our show that Chris was doubling down on what he said on our show and even tagging Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss football in his tweets. Here's Chris Lowe yesterday.
He wants to win championships, and he wants to be able to have that chance to do that on a regular basis. The NIL collective at Auburn is 10 times what it is at Ole Miss. And whether I like it or you guys like it or anybody likes it, that's going to be the name of the game in college football right now. Not just bringing in high school recruits, but holding on to your own kids. And you're going to have to work the transfer portal. I mean, you look at a kid like Quinshon Judkins at Ole Miss. You don't think every school in America is going to be pulling at him with major NIL deals. And I know that that's not supposed to happen. It's quote-unquote tampering. But that's just where we are right now. And if you've got a big collective, the way Auburn has built its collective, and you're Lane Kiffin, or let's say you're ex-coach at Ole Miss, that's going to be more appealing to you. So, yes, I think that would be why he would go to Auburn.
That's Chris Lowe yesterday here on the Next Round. And again, Forrest, if you pull up the tweets, and this is a few hours after this, and he goes right at the tag. When you're hearing people are chopping at you in the media industry, behind the scenes, in your DMs, or taking shots at you in their timeline, saying you don't really know what you're talking about. When you go and tweet at Lane Kiffin, at Ole Miss football, at Auburn football, you're pretty much saying, I'm going to stand right behind what I said on the air on the Next Round. The overriding reason at Lane Kiffin would leave at Ole Miss football for at Auburn football is the hefty NIL fund Auburn has built. In the NIL world, that kind of cash is the key to sustaining success. Exactly what he said on that air yesterday afternoon. Chris Lowe was doubling down on that, pushing all his chips in on what he said.
Yeah, you can't get more direct than that. And you wonder a couple of things. Lane Kiffin takes this job. What kind of mass exodus, including Judkins, leaves Ole Miss?
Yeah. Okay, that's the next storyline on that. But first, let's get into some of that right here. Brought to you in part today by our friends at MyBookie.
Yeah, MyBookie.ag is where you need to go. MyBookie.ag, code Next Round. And when you use code Next Round, they are going to match your deposit bonus halfway up to $1,000. You sign up for free, but that initial deposit gets matched up to $1,000 with MyBookie.ag. A huge selection of odds, props, and contests for all your sports betting needs anytime, anywhere. When you play with MyBookie.ag, you're not just betting, you're joining the winning team. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. That is MyBookie.ag, code Next Round.
JD in Huntsville says, please ask Charles Barkley in your next segment if he feels like he has a voice at Auburn because of his financial donations to the school. We'll talk to Barkley about what's going on with his school coming up in the very next segment.
I do want to say, though, on that Ole Miss NIL, Walker Jones, who is involved with the Grove Collective, who is their NIL group, right? You know, like High Tide Traditions, On to Victory at Auburn, those collectives that are pretty much, the schools can't have a quote-unquote official one, but it's understood this is the quote-unquote official one, right?
Right.
Walker Jones, who's one of two employees apparently involved with that, was...
See, I saw him in the timeline, so he is legit a part of the NIL.
Well, he in one of his...
I wasn't able to do any research on who runs their NIL. I didn't know if he was just fandom guy and acting like he was part of the NIL.
Well, as a part of the Twitter thread about, what Lowe said on our show, he said to someone, couple things. We have a grand total of 2 full-time staff members, and we can only advertise and market as allowed by the university. So I think it's abundantly clear that he's got some sort of association with it, using we and talking about staff members.
Might need to get more employees.
He said, in response to when we just sent out what we just played for you, what Chris said, he responded to it and said, would be curious as to how he would know that. I nor anyone else with the Grove Collective have ever spoken to Chris Lowe or disclosed how much we have raised. Also, no one really knows how much Auburn has raised either. All that to say, we love where we are right now. So this ruffles some feathers in the old Grove Collective world.
I would tell Walker and anybody else that you may not, or somebody from your collective may have not have talked to Chris Lowe, but there is a close to 100% chance guys named Kiffin and Sexton and people like that have talked to Chris Lowe, maybe even a Cohen or there are people that talk to Chris Lowe on the reg. that would feed him information about whatever else is going on in collectives. And in the collective world, a lot of people know what the other collectives they have. It's their business to know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to Robert, I can't independently confirm this either. He says Walker Jones is pretty high up in Under Armour. He does have some credibility. I'm not doubting his credibility at all. In fact, I told you I think he's actually involved with the Grove Collective based on the way he talks. But my point was that he was publicly pushing back against what Chris said there. Yeah. So it obviously ruffles some feathers.
Having done this for 30 years now, reporters usually get information from people that want reporters to have that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a reason they leak it to them, right?
I have occasionally been fed things that people wanted me to report over the years. And that happens in the industry. And not saying that's what happened here with Chris Lowe. I'm just saying people talk, and people talk to reporters all the time.
But let's not forget, going into the 2017 SEC championship game, remember the major buzz that Gus Malzahn was in talks with Arkansas, and a lot of people felt like a deal was already done.
Yeah,
and that led to a huge extension for Gus Malzahn.
And beating Georgia and Alabama. Gus Malzahn could not have timed that more perfectly. Arkansas's job was open. Jimmy Sexton convinced Auburn that Gus was going to take it. You had a lame duck. Was it AD or president? I can't remember what the situation was, but you had some lame duck leadership. And the one thing that scared Auburn to death was getting on the coaching carousel. And Sexton parlayed that into a great deal for Gus Malzahn, which Auburn, by the way, is still paying for.
Yeah.
Part of that great deal is the buyout you're paying right now for him not to coach you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens. And, until Lane Kiffin's introduced at Auburn, he's the coach at Ole Miss. All we're saying is there are reasons why, and people who are like Chris Lowe who are reporting why he would leave. It's a very interesting conversation that will continue until Auburn names their next head coach down in the Plains, but an interesting twist yesterday that started here on our show and carried over onto social media and in the collective in Oxford, Mississippi yesterday. Tonight's Bud Light game night. We're out at Mugshots in Vestavia. We look forward to being out there with you 5 to 7 Central Time. If you're in the Vestavia, Alabama area, come hang out with us at Mugshots. We'll do a sort of a college football, NFL, and Ask Us Anything show. Any question you have about sports or anything, you can join us 5 to 6 live on our video platforms. And then we'll hang out 6 to 7, enjoy some great food and wonderful drinks from our friends at Bud Light. That is happening tonight. Some other stuff going on in college football in just 1 second after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson, Charles Barkley. In the next segment, John Parker Wilson at 11 o'clock today. Stan White on the show as well. That's our Michelson look ahead.
Yeah, 969-8100, that is the number you need to write down. Find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, I went in over 20 years ago. I had the 2200 vision, legally blind without the aid of contacts. After I got the procedure done, only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision better than 2020. If you're wasting money on contacts and solution and eyeglasses each and every year, find out if LASIK is right for you. Really simple, 969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Brown will have our Thursday tradition later on in the show. Rockstar has our 4 downs. It's an interesting day in the state of California as well. Today is the day that the University of California Regents will vote and decide whether or not to block UCLA's move to the Big Ten. If you think that's not even a done deal yet, and today is the big vote for the California Regents, and nobody knows how the vote's going to go because I think it's 26 regents that will be in the room voting, and from what everyone I read this morning, the report they said maybe 2 or 3 understand how Power 5 athletics work.
Okay. I don't doubt that one.
Well, they all know how money works. Let me ask you this. With 26 in there, what's it worth to the Big Ten and UCLA to get into that conference?
So you think they're buying votes?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, if somebody handed you $1 million, you don't know anything about Power 5, let them go.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yay, yes. Yay. Is yay what we want? Yay, yay, yes.
Well, but you just wonder how much petty politics play into this, right?
That's right.
And I don't know the power structure. Like, from the outside looking in, you would assume UCLA
swings a bigger stick than Cal.
Yeah, but isn't Cal like the University of California?
That is correct. I don't want to go UAT, UAB,
But that's what it
UAH on you,
is.
but
It's what it
Barkley
is.
is the University of California.
That's right.
And then UCLA is UCLA.
So much in the
University of California, Los Angeles.
Much in the same way that UAB people have always felt that, and maybe rightfully so at times, that Alabama's Board of Trustees has held them down a little bit. This would be the equivalent of that in California. Now, the big difference there is Cal is terrible at athletics and UCLA is good at athletics. So I don't know how this goes, but you just wonder if there's some pettiness. Wow, there's going to be pettiness.
They've spent thousands of dollars on studies, cost-benefit studies and polls. They did a cost-benefit study. It would increase more than what they pay right now, $10 million more a school year in travel, nutrition, and academics for tutors and such for them to be on the road as much as the athletes are going to have to be on the road to the Big Ten.
What I do wonder is if the Big Ten wants UCLA and USC badly enough that if Cal's part of the package, they bite on that. See what I'm saying? Like if UCLA goes to them and say, we do not have the votes here. We don't have the votes.
Right.
And the only way we get the votes is if Cal comes along with Oregon or Washington or whoever else y'all can get. But we don't have the votes right now. I mean, you wonder how bad does the Big Ten want this to happen?
In the best poll, the most honest poll ever of student athletes, they polled the UCLA student athletes. 35% of them. Now this is unheard of, I think, in modern day America.
So this is UCLA's athletes?
This is UCLA student athletes.
Okay.
Anybody that wanted to participate in the poll participated. 35% of the student athletes polled said they saw the move to the Big Ten as a positive move.
34%?
35%.
35%.
7% saw it as a negative move, and it unheard of in America. 58% said they had no opinion or did not have enough information to form an opinion. Nowhere in America can you find 58% of the people who are not going to give you their damn opinion, even if they don't know.
You can in California when it comes to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
58% of the student athletes themselves said, you know, right, I don't have enough information. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. We'll find out, right?
And that's where you say, it says right here you're on the road team.
Yeah.
If y'all stay in the Pac-12, ain't a chance you're keeping your program.
Yeah, you're canceled.
That's right. So do you want to answer this question again?
I mean, go to work today. Ask anybody anything at work when you're at work today. Step out of your cubicle wherever you are today and ask anybody anything. You won't find half the room that says, I don't know enough about that.
Don't really care.
Yeah. This thing that the rocket we're orbiting the moon in and coming back to Earth, and we're going to send humans to the moon again after 50 years, doing it 50 years ago. Everybody's got an opinion on that. I didn't know it was going up into space until I saw the video on YouTube the other day. But I've got an opinion on it, Rockstar. Everybody's got an opinion.
What's your opinion on it?
Hey, if we're unsuccessful,
we did it 50 years ago. Let's go somewhere else.
No, if we're unsuccessful,
Bama won the national championship a couple years ago. Why keep doing it?
No. If we're unsuccessful, like if they can't pull this off, do you not think that will only fuel the
oh my gosh,
fuel the conspiracy that we never did it to begin with?
Yeah, if we can't do it now, 50 years later,
right.
Did we do it back in the 60s?
But this is not NASA doing it, right? This is NASA doing it. Yeah,
with some independent contractors.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Nolan's one of those.
Yeah. Is he really? No.
Stanley Kubrick was the guy before, right?
Chris Nolan brought the cameras and the lights.
Yeah.
Okay. One more college football thing to tell you after LT tells you about the great folks at Hemp Hill. If you woke up this morning, it was below freezing. If your heating wasn't working, you knew that this morning, man.
Yeah, for all of your plumbing, cooling, heating needs, trusted name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Our friends Adam, Chad, Andrew, Hemp Hill Services. They fix it right the first time, always at a fair price. 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
All right. Charlotte hired their coach yesterday to replace Will Healy.
Interesting hire.
It is an interesting
His name
hire.
is Biff Poggi. He's a longtime Baltimore City School high school coach who went on to be the assistant head coach at Michigan. Everyone, according to Bruce Feldman, everyone inside the Michigan football building credits him for sort of the change of the landscape of Michigan over the last 2 years. Plus, he's opened the door to some recruiting in the Baltimore, Northern Virginia area. He's now the head coach at Charlotte. The one thing I know about this guy, and doing research on him today, he is one of the believers, and he's a high school coach, but also a father.
Flat Earth.
No, he is a believer that
Scientology.
you should not play tackle football until the age of 14. That there should be federal law, much like driving when you're 16 and drinking when you're 21, that because of physical injuries and you're not developed enough, both mentally and physically, you should not play tackle football until you're 14 years of age. And then you get taught the game at age 14, how to play tackle football properly. And you don't develop bad habits of playing as a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old. So here's a guy who's now a head coach at Charlotte, who had 4 sons, by the way, who all played, who did not play tackle football until they were 14. And all 4 of them got full ride scholarships at places like Iowa, Virginia Tech, and places like
I
that.
I don't think he's wrong about this. I mean, I don't know any federal law in it. That seems a little harsh, but I don't think he's wrong. I mean, it's probably not the worst idea in the world.
Well, look, it worked out for his kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that, right?
And he says one of the things, other than the physical, but the mental, he says a lot of kids start tackle football too young, and they fall out of love with the game. And the numbers of people playing high school football are down around the country. And he loves the game so much. He says, can you imagine everyone playing flag, the NFL-sponsored flag football, learning the game, having fun playing the game, everybody having that sort of positive aspect of the game, taking the getting hit out of it. And then when you're 14, you're able to be taught the game right. It would make the game grow a little bit. All interesting there from the new coach at Charlotte. The guy now has got a D1 job. Looking forward to seeing what he does with the 49ers. We'll talk to our man Charles Barkley when we come back about what's going on at Auburn. It's basketball season too, but we'll talk a little football with CB. Sir Charles is next right here.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
The wait is finally over. The one-of-a-kind buffalo tenders are now back at Culver's. Stop by the location nearest you to give the incredible buffalo tenders a try, along with some great sides such as Wisconsin cheese curds, pretzel bites, and more. That's Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Unexpected expenses are every homeowner's nightmare. The longer you wait, the more the expense. That's why if you have water, fire, or mold damage to your home or business, you should call DryTech immediately. The quicker you call, the more you save. DryTech's professionals are accustomed to dealing with these situations and can guide you toward the quickest and most efficient solution to your problem. DryTech also offers 24/7 emergency services, so let DryTech prevent a minor problem from becoming a major one. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 or go online to mydrytech.com.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant Bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, you know why we're here. The football season is back! Woo! And since that's too amazing to miss a single second's worth, Pepsi is officially giving you permission to always put football first. Like, maybe those in-laws are back in town. Well, better hope they're football fans because your Sunday is completely booked. Long story short, crack open a Pepsi and don't let anything get between you and your football watching. With love, Pepsi, made for football watching. That's what I like.
Done building your family? A vasectomy is a safe, simple, effective option for birth control. When it was my time to take the snip, I used my friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, and there's no better time for a vasectomy. It's a great reason to be off your feet and be on the couch during the game with the wife's approval. It's a quick, in-office procedure covered by most insurances. Urology Centers of Alabama, 16 convenient locations. Call 205-922-SNP. That's 205-922-7647.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Holly Mack Wilson is not your normal Keller Williams agent. With too many certifications to count, she is now in the top 2% of all Western Alabama real estate agents. That means she's more qualified to help you buy or sell a home, better trained in negotiating the best deal possible, and now can help you buy or sell a home anywhere in Alabama. From Huntsville to Gulf Shores or anywhere in between, call Holly Mack Wilson at 205-901-9446 or visit hollymachomes.com. Holly Mack Wilson, an anywhere in Alabama realtor.
Football is back, and you can check out the new arrivals in the Next Round store. Support the brand by grabbing a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. See the latest gear online at nextround.store. That's nextround.store. We've got gear in your favorite team colors, perfect to wear to the stadium or tailgate. All the gear has been approved by everyone on the show. Quality and comfort that's perfect to share as a gift. Just visit nextround.store. That's nextround.store, the official store of Double Down Media.
Charles Barkley in just a second. Part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Greystone Chiropractic. Before Charles jumps on here, Greystone Chiropractic wanting to get you feeling better, man.
They do. Element Wellness does that. They're right there under the same roof. My man, Dr. Lee with Greystone Chiropractor has got me straightened out. But Element Wellness takes care of things like IV vitamin therapy, cryotherapy, red light therapy, infrared sauna, holistic nutrition consulting. That cryotherapy, where whole body cryotherapy is used to treat pain and arthritis, inflammatory disorders, injuries with extreme cold for about 1 to 3 minutes. It can take care of you. You can see it all at elementwellness.me. That is elementwellness.me, just off 280 on 119 in Tattersall Park with Greystone Chiropractic. It's Element Wellness.
We did have a snow game last night. Central Michigan and Western Michigan playing their rivalry game. Impacted the game quite a bit of snow, especially in the first half.
I mean, what, a 12-7 final?
Yeah, 12-7 final. Not as it's fun to watch a snow game, but you can't really do a lot offensively in that.
Snow games are kind of fun, but you generally get bad football in them.
You really do.
And the Bills one is interesting to watch. There's even talk about them postponing that game Sunday.
Well, that's what I was getting to, Brown. I did a little research after you gave me 30 inches yesterday.
That's right. Well, you're welcome,
Brown. clip that one right.
And you're back in today.
So to speak. So Brown said 30 inches of snow yesterday. I did a little research. They're expecting thunder snow on Saturday night in Buffalo.
That's next level. We've never had thunder snow ever.
And right down at the stadium, they're thinking that the infrastructure is going to be impacted extremely around the stadium. There's a possibility of postponing, but right now Browns-Bills still on for 12 noon on Sunday. But from midnight Saturday, 12:01 Saturday morning, until kick time, they're expecting 3 to 6 feet of snow.
Yep, I saw that. And, I mean, for Buffalo to have to postpone a game, you know it's bad.
That's right.
We're talking about Buffalo here.
Yeah, so they're talking about first responders. There's so many other things going on outside of football, and they just can't put that – even if it's not snowing day of, there's so many other things going on
That's right.
around.
Yeah. I mean, you're having to care for people that are, iced in and have medical emergencies. I mean, it's somewhat similar to like when we have a hurricane and everybody's like, oh, it's nice and clear, the sun's out. Why did they not play the game? Well, because there are people trapped in their house.
Yeah, 200 miles from here, there are people trapped in the house.
Yeah, and it's a question of public resources. Is it wise to use those public resources for a football game if they are needed for medical emergencies or life emergencies elsewhere?
Play the game in Birmingham.
Yeah, we always say that. Just play it in Birmingham.
Move it here.
Would love it. Would love to see that game.
I'd go.
So Browns and Bills at 12 noon. We'll see if the game gets postponed or not. Charles Barkley in a second. when he joins us here. I will tell you this. I've got an interesting stat about tonight's Titans and Packers game. It's historical, and I find it fascinating. Currently, the Packers and the Bears are tied for the most wins all time in NFL history at 786. So by this game being Thursday night tonight, the Packers could take the lead for maybe a brief moment, but could take the lead all time in NFL wins if they win the game tonight. It would be the first time since 1921 that the Bears were not the NFL team with the most wins all time.
You know, it's really hard for me to believe, Jim. I know they've been playing. No, it is, because I know they've been playing for a long time, but for the vast majority of my lifetime, Lance, the Bears haven't been that good a franchise.
They got a head start, though, Brandon.
No, that's what I'm saying. They've been playing for a long time, but I mean, before Walter Payton and Jim McMahon, that was not a great franchise. And then after them, it wasn't a great franchise. I mean, they've had moments. Rex Grossman got them to the Super Bowl.
The last time the Bears were not the leaders of NFL all-time wins was 1921, when they tied that year the Buffalo All-Americans, who had 18 wins in the NFL. So the Bears got their 18th win, tying the Buffalo All-Americans in 1921. They got their 19th win before the All-Americans did, and then have held it on all the way, possibly until tonight, if the Packers can get the victory at home this evening at Lambeau Field to take the lead. So from that day in 1921 to almost, well, a little over now, 100 years later, we may have a change at the lead of the NFL all-time lead tonight.
It blows me away that the Bears are that organization. Again, I know they've been around a while, but here are starting quarterbacks over the last 20 years for the Bears. Justin Fields, going to be good, it looks like. Playing really well right now. Todd Collins, Henry Burris, Jason Campbell, Jimmy Clausen, Andy Dalton, Caleb Haney, Jonathan Quinn, Craig Krenzel, Mike Glennon, Chad Hutchinson, Chase Daniel, Cordell Stewart, Brian Hoyer, Matt Barkley, Brian Greasy, Chris Chandler, Nick Foles, Josh McCown, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman, Mitch Trubisky, and Jay Cutler.
I mean, how do you not just go draft a quarterback at some point?
They did a lot of those.
They did. First round in Cutler, first round in Trubisky.
Yeah, when you were doing that list, I was thinking, how many of those did they think was the guy? This wasn't just a fill-in. This was the guy.
Was Cutler their draft pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he started.
Cutler's pretty good.
Yeah,
he was good. Bears quarterback.
Got him to an NFC Championship game, and Caleb Haney had to take over. No, that was Rex Grossman.
Sexy Rexy.
I mean, of the ones you just listed, Cutler might be the most successful one they've had until maybe Fields.
I think he probably is.
Yeah.
Okay. To maximize our time with Barkley, we may take a quick break
here.
Well,
I'm concerned. Rockstar, do you want to check with him? I'm concerned he may think it's 10:25 Central rather than Eastern. I know he's on Eastern time, and I was talking Eastern time. So why don't you check with Charles?
Okay. Our friends at Wayne's, though, will always keep you in check when it comes to your lawn care and prevent. I mean, it's freezing outside, so if you got any pests that are outside, spiders and bugs and such like that, it's when they start until they die off or until they go back underground, they're looking for a warm place. You want to stay protected with our friends at Wayne's, and they're helping you with your lawn, too.
That's right. If you want your lawn to look the best it can in spring and summer, now is the time to jump on board with Envirolawn from Wayne's. 866-WAYNES-1 is the number. 866-WAYNES and the number 1. And you use the code TNR and save. Listen, when you use the code TNR, we are going to pay for your first month. 12 months for the price of 11 when you call 866-WAYNES-1. Get that yard looking right in spring and summer with Wayne's Envirolawn now in the fall shutdown season. 866-WAYNES-1 and the code TNR.
All right, we'll take a quick break here, try to line up Charles Barkley in the very next segment. The show being brought to you, of course, from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. Love those folks there. Always fun on a football weekend out at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. And don't forget Ghost Energy Drinks, wherever you get your energy drinks. Try our friends at Ghost. Great flavors and the pick-me-up you need with all the ingredients right there in the right there on the label. The best way to get that pick-me-up energy drink is with our friends at Ghost, wherever you buy your drinks.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
After years searching for a classic jacket that was functional in the field and the city, Tom Beckby couldn't find one he liked, so he decided to make his own. Since designing that first jacket in 2015, Tom Beckby has continued to draw inspiration from natural settings to produce classic outdoor equipment with time-tested rugged materials. Visit the brand new Tom Beckme store in Mountain Brook Village, a local business with the goal of outfitting you for the outdoors here in Alabama and wherever the road takes you. Mountain Brook Village or online, TomBeckme.com. That's Tom, BECKBE.com.
All the coaches I talk to believe you win championships in all three phases of the game. And the same is true with my friends at Wayne's with pest protection, termite protection, and lawn care. The website is callwaynes.com. Remember the promo code TNR for big savings. With the cold weather coming, the pests will be trying to break through your defense and come inside. You can save $60 right now off of Smart Pest by using that promo code TNR. So go online to callwaynes.com or call the phone number 866-WAYNES1 and remember the promo code TNR.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. And try your luck on our popular sports parlay. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Start your day on our website, nextroundlive.com. The morning rounds give you the top links to the stories you need to see before going to lunch with your buddies. At nextroundlive.com, you can also watch and listen to the show live or download our top podcast and shop in the Next Round store. New arrivals, new downloads, new shows, new contests, all on one website, nextroundlive.com. Make it your homepage, nextroundlive.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Whether you're a weekend athlete or sports is your life, Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to help you stay in the game. If you have an injury or pain that says something's not right, let Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics help you make your greatest comeback. From concussions to sprained ankles, our experienced team is ready with treatment options. Find a doctor at precisionsportsortho.com/providers.
Our friends at Backyard Adventure want you to be ready to go this holiday season and really put a smile on the kids' face with that perfect play set in the backyard. They got this 3D designer. I don't talk about this enough. They got this 3D designer where you can sit down in front of a computer with the representative from our friends at Backyard Adventure, and you can pick out and build specifically a playground that will have everything your child wants in the backyard. It's not some cookie cutter plan where every play set is exactly the same. You design it, you build it, and it's designed to fit exactly the way you want it to fit in your backyard. It's an amazing thing. You can see that if you go to backyardalabama.com, backyardalabama.com, and you'll find a location near you, whether you're in the Birmingham area, the Atlanta area, whatever. Still time to get set up for Christmas and into the new year before it gets really beautiful next spring. You'll have that 100% cedar quality play set in the backyard. They also do trampolines, alley-oop trampolines, goal setter basketball goals, and a lot more. Go to this website, backyardalabama.com, backyardalabama.com, or call this number, 205-4084-FUN, 205-4084-FUN. And backyardalabama.com is the same website if you're in Atlanta or anywhere else. Just find a location near you for backyard adventures. All right, Barkley with us in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. We'll catch up with Charles Barkley about 15 to the top of the hour. But right now, let's do our Pepsi NFL football update on what's happening tonight. Brown is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Pepsi.
Yes, it is, Jim.
America loves football.
Yes, they do, Jim.
Nice setup, boys.
Did we not just discuss this in the break? We literally just had this discussion.
I know. I'm just saying. America loves football.
They love football, Jim.
And they love
Pepsi.
And they love Pepsi, too.
Yes.
It's Titans and Packers tonight, 6-3 Tennessee against the 4-6 Green Bay Packers. If I said Green Bay still a dark horse to make it to the Super Bowl, yes or no?
Zero chance.
Zero chance.
This team just lost 5 consecutive games.
They just won. They beat the Cowboys on
I know
Saturday.
that.
Yeah.
They had just lost 5 consecutive games. They were down 14 points at home to the Cowboys. It was a nice comeback. You know, Christian Watson had that nice game. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon able to run the football. No, watching this Packers team, no shot.
Tonight, Titans and Packers, interesting game for the Titans on the road here. They've got players out there without their starting center, Ben Jones. They were out there starting safety. Their starting place kicker is not going to play, and starting outside linebacker is not going to play. Tannehill hasn't been always healthy.
That's the question. Is Tannehill going to play? Because he's been out, and they haven't gotten dynamic play from Malik Willis. He was good enough for them to beat the Texans, but Malik Willis in other situations hasn't looked like the guy. And I don't know what his future plans are, but you're probably not even going to win this division without Ryan Tannehill playing the rest of this season. And this is a crap division. I mean, you've got the lead right now, but I don't know that you can hold it without Tannehill.
Here come the Colts.
I mean, I guess Jeff Saturday's going to lead the Colts to the Super Bowl. Who knows? But
I did hear somebody today say the Colts will beat the Eagles on Sunday.
That wouldn't blow me away.
Yeah.
I mean, I think once the Eagles, I think now that the Eagles have lost a game, they'll drop a few.
No, they will. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way it works in the NFL.
But see, with the Packers, okay, you've got the young kid starting to develop some deep threat possibilities with Aaron Rodgers.
One game,
but he had that's against a good secondary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good secondary for Dallas, right? You'll give me that.
Yeah.
So that's a little positive moving forward there. They could have easily lost the game as much as they won the game. It was that close of a game. But for this Titans team, they're still looking to have something other than Derrick Henry, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the good news is Green Bay is bad against the run. So Derrick Henry, he had 5 consecutive 100-yard games until last week, only 53 yards. Interesting thing here is Tennessee's offense is awful outside of Derrick Henry. And they're averaging 18.4 points per game. They're leading the AFC South by 2 games with no offense. There's only 2 teams since 2002. 140 have made the playoffs. Only 2 have averaged less than 18.4 points per game. And it looks like the Titans are going to get to the postseason based on where they are right now with the 0 offense. And I told Dunaway, somebody brought this up to me, a buddy of mine the other day. The Broncos, if they scored at least 20 points in every game, would be 8-1 right now.
Because their defense is so good. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and that's the Titans' defense is good.
There are 2 division leaders that have a single-digit point differential or a negative point differential. One of them's Tampa, which you would say that's a terrible division, and the other one's the Titans. They're -2, Tampa's +3. Otherwise, everybody else has at least a double-digit point differential in the season, and that's, a testament to those 2 divisions, I think. Both the South.
One other NFL note, Matt Stafford looks like he's progressing and could be back for the Rams as they play in New Orleans against the Saints. A game at LT will be at coming up this weekend. And I didn't know, as we wrap up our Pepsi NFL update on this Thursday from our great friends at Pepsi, America Loves Football, Tom Brady and Steph Curry are being sued now. I didn't know this was even a possibility for aggressively marketing FTX crypto. Now, the FTX has gone belly up, apparently, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a messy story here. So FTX was, and you saw Larry David doing the commercials actually on the Super Bowl. If you remember that. Yeah, I know. I mean,
Cue the music.
They had a lot of people that were involved in that, but it is it's an exchange. It is a crypto exchange, and basically this would be essentially like you've got your money in a bank, and you go to get your money at the bank, and like, by the way, we spent all your money.
Yeah,
we just thought we'd give you a heads up. We spent all your money, so there are billions that have gone missing here, and a lot of people are left holding the bag with nothing.
And Tom Brady and Steph Curry too. Figures who I guess promoted this. I don't remember seeing commercials, but
I do remember with Brady, not with Steph.
They're being sued for aggressively marketing FTX and the crypto exchange there. So something to keep an eye on for Steph. Another thing on Tom Brady's plate this year.
Well, I think Brady's lost like $70 million in crypto
because of this, or just already.
Well, just already, and maybe that was part of his endorsement deal. Is we're going to give you X amount of percentage, and
I like a man that's playing hungry. All of a sudden, Brady's playing for a paycheck.
Hungry. He looks hungry. Yeah. He always is. Nobody's home to cook for him anymore either.
He's going to have to. Get that play for that paycheck. We'll send out a Cowan Equipment poll question a little bit later on. We sent one out yesterday. Brandon, if you'll give us an update on that, tell us about our friends at Cowan Equipment.
Yeah, our friends at Cowan Equipment with us since day one here on the next round. Would love the opportunity to partner with your company for your heavy equipment needs. Visit us. Go to Cowan.com to find out more about how we can be your heavy equipment solution, from rental and new equipment sales to superior service and parts. For more information, Cowan.com.
Yesterday was that 40-year anniversary of the game.
That's right.
The band on the field play between Stanford and Cal.
And we ask with that 40th anniversary, what do you consider the greatest walk-off play in college football history? The band on the field did not win, by the way. Tua to Devontae Smith, 54%. Kick 6, 40%. Band on the field, 5%. Other, 1%. I'm trying to think of an other play that would.
I mean, you had the Colorado-Michigan Hail Mary in the last play.
Yeah. Cordell Stewart. Two mentions for Cordell Stewart on the show today, by the way. I never thought that would happen.
I didn't either.
Yeah, Cordell Stewart on the Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, some plays like that throughout the history of time.
So. Yeah, and don't forget, like
wide rights.
Yeah, Vince Young was not a walk-off. I think USC got the ball back, didn't they, Lance, after the Vince Young touchdown? I mean, they have a ton of time left, but I do think they got the ball back. Yeah.
So that was an interesting vote yesterday, a Cowan Equipment poll question. Happy birthday today to Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim is
78.
He is 78 years old.
Boom. How about that?
He's currently at 999 wins.
It's tainted, though.
Because he had 101 vacated.
That's right.
So he's gone over 1,000. This will be the second time he goes over 1,000. Jim Boeheim, at age 78, is the oldest coach in college basketball by 13 months over Cliff Ellis, former Auburn coach, who'll be 77 next month. He's still coaching at Coastal Carolina. But Boeheim's not only the oldest college basketball coach, he's older than any college football coach. He's older than any NBA coach. He's older than any NFL coach. And believe it or not, he's even older than any Major League Baseball coach.
Oh, older than Dusty?
He is the oldest and older than any NHL. So he's the oldest major sports coach in America at age 78, Jim Boeheim.
Maybe my least liked, too. I do not like Boeheim.
I don't know a lot of people that do like Boeheim, but I'm not really surprised. I mean, 78 is typically a time people shut it down.
He started coaching in 1969 at Syracuse, where he was an assistant for 10 years and got the head coaching job in 1979. And he's been the head coach there ever since. 1979, the head coach, and has been at Syracuse since 69. That's a long life.
It really is. I mean, I say good for him because he's been able to do what he loves for a very long time, even if I don't like him. You can't appreciate Lance that he's able to at least do what he wants to do his whole life.
And he's been highly successful.
Yeah. Oh, he's been highly successful. Now, I would say he's got one national championship. Am I correct about that?
He does.
Yes, it's a little underwhelming if you've coached that long at a high-level program and you've only had one national championship.
A lot of Final Fours.
I think 5 Final Fours, 1 national championships, and a ton of Sweet 16s.
But you would give me that's a little disappointing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's coached at Syracuse and they've played at a high level.
Yeah, if I'm a Syracuse fan and we're that close that many times,
I'd at least want
more.
1 or 2 more maybe.
He should have had 2. Keith Smart shouldn't have made that jumper. Superdome.
For Indiana.
Yeah.
Should have missed. You had Jeff Syracuse in that game.
Should have rolled out, and Rony Cycli pulls down the board.
Should we take another break here and push to the next segment for Barkley?
Has anybody talked to him? Rockstar, have you talked to him?
He said, give me 10 minutes about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
So a quick break here. This will be our top of the hour break for the affiliates along the way. Break number C, Rockstar. Or I can keep going. I've got
number C. No,
I've got other filler information.
If we're down to Jim Boeheim's birthday, I think we probably need a break.
I got two better things, but I'll take a break. We'll get maximum time with Barkley when we come back. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap, keeping your gutter safe.
Yeah, look, the leaves are falling. It's a dirty, dangerous job. The last thing you want to do is get on that ladder, get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. You're no good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. Call my good friend Chris Stewart right now. 45% off the retail price for the next round viewer and listener, 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it.
All right, quick break here. Back with Charles Barkley so we can get maximum time with Sir Charles after a quick timeout right here.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
The wait is finally over. The one-of-a-kind buffalo tenders are now back at Culver's. Stop by the location nearest you to give the incredible buffalo tenders a try, along with some great sides such as Wisconsin cheese curds, pretzel bites, and more. That's Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
Banking isn't just about your money. It's about you. It's about getting help with what you need when you need it. AmFirst was founded for members just like you, and they've been putting those members first since 1936. Putting you first means services that grow and change with the times to serve you better. Now, every bank has their own app, but that's just it. It's theirs, not yours. The AmFirst app was made for you, so it's easy to pay bills, deposit checks, or transfer money to friends and family from anywhere. You can even customize the app, which means you can personalize your dashboard, create usage alerts, and redeem points for rewards that will make you feel like the #1 priority you are. And you can do it all on your own time. So what are you waiting for? Get the app made for you from AmFirst. Visit any AmFirst location or amfirst.org today. That's amfirst.org, America's first federal credit union. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Unexpected expenses are every homeowner's nightmare. The longer you wait, the more the expense. That's why if you have water, fire, or mold damage to your home or business, you should call DryTech immediately. The quicker you call, the more you save. DryTech's professionals are accustomed to dealing with these situations and can guide you toward the quickest and most efficient solution to your problem. DryTech also offers 24/7 emergency services, so let DryTech prevent a minor problem from becoming a major one. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 or go online to mydrytech.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
The only place to get the best gear for game day is the Pants Store. 5 great locations in Crestline, Leeds, Trustful, Tuscaloosa, and Huntsville. You can also order at pantsstore.com and follow the Pants Store on social media. Game day hats, all your Yeti accessories, sunglasses, and game day polos from Antigua, Taylor and Mick, Johnny O, and Gentile. And guys, trust me, this is where your daughters and wife want to shop because of all the in-style fashions made especially for them. It's the Pants Store, Crestline, Leeds, Trustful, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, and coming soon to Hoover and Auburn.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, Charles Barkley is standing by nice with his time as we start hour number 2. A little bonus to the hour number 2 now. Charles Barkley's appearance and part of the show being brought to you today by the great folks at Redmont Distilling, home of Redmont Vodka and Vulcan Gin.
Locally owned and operated, Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind Redmont Vodka. Their aim, clarity, and taste, color, and smell. It is vodka perfection. Redmont vodka is made from corn, which not only makes it gluten-free, also provides that smooth finish, no harsh aftertaste, 8 times distilled, available at your local package and ABC stores, also available in 20 states. Ask for it by name. It is Redmont Vodka.
And the Auburn and NBA great is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. It is always good to see you and talk to you, Charles. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I apologize for the time screw-up. I thought I was looking at my Eastern time. I screwed up, so I apologize for being late.
You are absolutely okay. You never owe us an apology, Charles. You know that.
Can I say something before we go forward? I just want Alabama fans to know how much I hate them. You know, these guys have lost 2 games, and they act like it's Armageddon. This is why I have a hatred for Alabama. You got Nick Saban, who's the greatest college football coach ever. I got a lot of love and respect for Coach Saban. I think he's the greatest ever by far. No disrespect to anybody else. But the reason I hate Alabama fans, and there are a bunch of them are my friends too, these guys have lost 2 games, and they think it's the end of the world. I got that off my chest. Now let's go.
Well, your school unfortunately had to change coaches, and I know that's always disappointing. You want it to work out. I don't know what your relationship was like with Coach Harsin, but where do you feel like Auburn football is right now, having had to change coaches? Were you okay with that? I mean, where do you feel it is right now?
I'm a big Allen Green fan, and I like Brian Harsin. I did not like the way we treated those guys. I thought we put them in position to fail. But like I say, I'm a big Allen Green fan. I'm a big Brian Harsin fan. He had no chance to be successful after all that crap that went down last summer. His days were numbered, and that's really unfortunate. And I was very disappointed when they fired him. They didn't even mention his name in the release. Now, Auburn's, man, we got to have more class than that. And then I think probably the thing that disappoints me the most, guys, I hate hearing the guys on national shows badmouth our school, calling us dysfunctional, saying Auburn's a bad job. I really hate that more than anything in the world. Man, I love Auburn with all my heart. I'm going to support whoever the next coach is, but to see all these guys on television talking about what a bad job Auburn is because of the alumni, because of the boosters, using words like dysfunction, that really bothers me because, man, I know what Auburn is. It's one of the greatest places in the world. But now, hey, man, we got to make this coaching hire. It's a really big deal because you got, obviously you got Coach Saban, the GOAT. You got what Brian Kelly's doing at LSU. You got Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC in a couple of years. if we don't get this coaching hire right, we might become irrelevant. I mean, the guy's doing a hell of a job at Tennessee now, Josh Heupel. So if we don't get this coaching hire correct, we could be irrelevant for the next 10 years.
Chuck, why do you think there's that reputation of dysfunction in the Auburn program amongst the mainstream?
Yeah, Lance, that's a great question, because I obviously I hear all the rumors, but I always tell people, why are the alumni involved in the coaching thing? Because you know what having money makes you? Just rich. It don't make you an offensive coordinator. It don't make you a defensive coordinator. If we're going to hire a coach, you got to let him coach. And like I say, I hear all the rumors and things like that, but I always say, man, that's just stupid. If I'm a coach, I'm going to always do it my way, because you know what? I'm going to get fired at some point. I'm not going to listen to anybody on football-related stuff. I talk to coaches all the time, and they say to me, give me one piece of advice. I says, hey, do it your way, even if it's wrong. Because let me tell you something, you're going to get I'm trying to think. Phil Jackson got fired at the end. You're going to get fired at some point. You might as well do it your way. So I hope whoever the next coach is does it his way. Don't worry about what Charles Barkley says. Don't worry about what any alumni says. Don't worry about what any fans say. Do it your way. And that's my advice to all coaches.
Lane Kiffin, I guess, would be the clubhouse leader, at least with the fans and the perception out there. Do you have a relationship with Lane Kiffin? Have you ever been in the same room, hung out with Lane? And what would you think of Lane Kiffin as the coach at Auburn?
Well, I'm going to support whoever the coach is. I personally want Deion Sanders because I think, number one, he's going to recruit like hell. I think that it would be first of all, Deion's going to win wherever he goes. If you ever been around Deion Sanders, like I watched that 60 Minutes interview about a month ago, and I said, I've known Deion since college. That's the way he is. He's going to win or be successful at anything he does. He's got that type of personality. I love the fact, if you ever go online and see some of his speeches to his players, a friend of mine in Alabama, Billy, sent me. He always sends me stuff because he loves Deion also. This thing where the first day of practice, he says, "You guys better be on time. I'm going to surprise you at class, and if you're not sitting in the front of the class, you're going to run sprints. If I ever catch you walking around campus with your pants down below your ass, we're going right to the track, and you're going to run." Deion wants to make men men. And that's what I want from a coach. But also, his personality, he's going to recruit. He won't be afraid of Coach Saban, because you got to have some star power to go against Coach Saban. And I think Deion. First of all, I'd be curious if they still do those commercials together if Deion gets the Auburn.
They get better commercials at that point. Absolutely,
they get much better commercials. But like I say, I got a really nice conversation with the new AD. He sent me a nice text, and we had a conversation, and that meant a lot to me. But like I say, I have nothing to do with the coaching search. But to answer your question, hey, listen, I think Coach Kiffin is a good coach. But I think the thing we need to do at Auburn, man, we need some star power. Because like I say, with Coach Kelly down at LSU, Tennessee's got it turned around. And then with Texas and Oklahoma coming, man, the SEC is only going to get crazier the next 10 to 15 years. So Kiffin is a terrific coach. But like I say, my personal opinion, I would love to see them hire Deion.
Charles Barkley with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Have you spoken to Prime recently? I mean, about this?
I've talked to Deion every week for the last few months. And so he's a really good friend. He's doing, like I say, he's doing a hell of a job. Like I say, he just has that persona where he's gonna be successful in whatever he does. He just have the it factor, as I call it. But I call and check on him all the time. But like I say, I'm gonna support whoever Auburn's hired. But if the AD, which we just had a very nice conversation, he didn't ask me any, and I don't call and bug him because I'm just an ex-player there. And but like I say, man, whoever we get is really important because, like I say, if we don't get it right now, because clearly we're behind Alabama and Georgia, we're behind Tennessee. We're behind LSU. And then, like I say, when Texas and Oklahoma come, their brands are powerful and big. So, man, this is a really big deal, this next coaching hire.
Pure speculation on your part, though. I mean, you know him well. Do you think Deion would take the job if offered?
Yes. I think he would. But I think the problem Auburn's going to have, if they don't do something quickly, there's going to be a surprise team that hired Deion. I think going to hire Deion in the next month or two.
Could that be a Pac-12 team?
It won't be a Pac-12 team.
Whoa!
But it's gonna be a shocker when it happens. But you can't because he's gonna get a great job sooner or later, whether this year or next year. But I think a school, just from what I'm hearing from people I'm talking, there's going to be a really big, important school like, hey, man, if we wait and don't snatch this dude up right now, he's going to go somewhere else in the next year or two. So do not be surprised if there's a shocker coming out of the SEC soon.
Whoa, out of the SEC.
Wow.
Just telling you.
Whoa, hang on, Charles. Hang on. So what you're saying is there is going to be a surprising coaching change inside the SEC, and it is going to include Deion Sanders. Is that what you're saying, in your opinion?
I think what I'm telling you is I think there's going to be a shocker firing in the SEC, and I know for a fact that they're probably going to go after Deion. I know that for a fact.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Okay, can't wait.
Yes.
Process of elimination. Drinkwitz just got an extension.
Yes. Missouri doesn't even interest me.
That's true.
Deion was pretty big at Dallas, right?
Hey, and I'm not going to be shocked if A&M fires Jimbo Fisher. Ooh.
Wait a minute, no, Charles didn't just freeze.
No, he's blinking. I can see him blinking. He's not answering. He's not answering.
Lance, I didn't say a word.
Okay.
I did not say a word.
Boy, Deion with that money and that program, that would be dangerous.
Oh, my gosh.
Charles Barkley is with us here on the next round.
And I want you to know, Lance, that scares the hell out of me.
Whew.
Yeah.
Just why you're right. Deion's been successful any and everything he's done. Watching him on game day the other day when they were, in town and they had him up on that podium, man. I mean, that guy can motivate anybody.
Anybody. Lance, I think, people got enamored with primetime Deion Sanders because he was flashy at Florida State and early in his career. But the thing I always admired about him, I was like, not only is he flashy and he got the Jerry curls, he had all the necklace.
Yeah.
It never affected his play. He was still the best cornerback in the world. He loves all the flashy stuff back in the day, but that's when you know a guy like Dennis Rodman did crazy stuff, but it never affected his play. And that's what I always admired about Deion. I mean, I forget what Jimmy Johnson said one time. He says 90% of the world is covered in water. The other 10% is covered by Deion Sanders. But I tell you, he is just a great person. He's just a great player. When you're around him, it's like, wow, he's got that thing. President Obama had that when I was around him. President Clinton had that when I was around him. Michael Jordan has that thing. Like when you're in a room with somebody, you're like, oh, I need to pay attention to that person. I've been around President Clinton like twice. I'm like, oh, yeah, let me stop. Everybody stop talking. Let this man talk. I feel the same way about President Obama. Deion is like that. Tim Cook. When I'm around Tim Cook, I'm like, hey, y'all shut the hell up. Tim is talking because I don't want to miss anything. But he just has. Oh, same thing with Coach Saban. I got some heat at Auburn a couple of times because Coach Saban asked me to speak to his team a couple times. I said, yo, man, I'm just glad he didn't ask me to cut his grass because if Nick Saban called me and said, Charles, would you come over and cut the grass? I said, Coach, I'll be there at 10 o'clock. But I just got, and I'm going to tell you why I got a lot of love and respect for Coach Saban. And I don't talk about this a lot because when he asked me to do stuff, it's always private. He called me late one night and he said, Charles, can you do me a favor? I said, sure, Coach, what you need? He says, I'm a 70-year-old white guy. Can you come talk to my black kids what it's like going on in society and in the world? And man, two people did that to me. Ernie Johnson called me one night. He said, Charles, I said, what up, Ernie? He says, what can I do to help this situation to make the world a better place? Because it was right when all this stuff was happening with George Floyd and, all the rioting and picking and everything. Two guys were always, they're like, hey, I'm a white guy. I'm 70 years old. When Coach Saban asked me that and I spoke to the team, it meant a great deal to me. And when Ernie called me, that meant a great deal to me. And for that reason, I'll always have a lot of love and respect for Coach Saban and Ernie because, I've been kind of hard on Kyrie Irving and Kanye West the last few weeks because, number one, they both said some really, really stupid stuff. But what I did was on our podcast last week, I brought in a rabbi. And I said, because it's not up to me to say what's offensive to another ethnic group. It's up to the offended group. And when we had I called Ernie, I said, let's get a rabbi on the podcast. He said, that's a great idea. Because, I used the analogy about last year I called Nota Begay, who's a Indian guy. And I said, Nota, explain the Redskins, the Indians things, because I've heard from other people, some people say it's not offensive, some people say it's offensive. He said, Charles, I really appreciate you calling me and asking me. And I said, yeah, I want to know, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've never been offended by the Redskins terms or the Cleveland Indians. You see clearly they're both changed. But I says, it's not up to me to make that decision what's offensive. So I always appreciate people reaching out because you want to learn, man. You don't want to go through life being a dumbass.
That's true. That is true. Charles Barkley's with us here on the next round. Last weekend, I thought was such a wonderful postcard for Auburn. 2, 3, and 6 football teams, and everyone shows up to support Carnell Williams and the players that were going through this. And you have a jam-packed stadium at night, and everyone's texting me during the day at how wonderful the atmosphere was on campus. As you watched that scene that weekend, over the weekend, what did you think of your Auburn family that had gathered there to support one of their own in Carnell Williams? A lot of former players back and everything.
Well, Jim, that was Auburn that I know and love. So I'll tell you something else. So me and Ernie do a podcast. We had Carnell on this week. Man, he was amazing. He said something that was so profound on the podcast. And Ernie asked the question, he says, like, when you got the job and blah, 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 and you go talk to the players, he says, I'm not going to lie, I was scared shitless. And I never heard a coach, he said, no, he said, man, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, my players had to calm me down. He said, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. He said, Coach. He said, the players said, hey, Coach, relax. Because he says, I normally I'm responsible for 7 players, but now I'm responsible for 100. He said, I wasn't going to walk in there like I knew what I was doing. I said, I just, all I was wanting to do was bring the Auburn spirit. He said, but I was scared to death. He said, my players calmed me down. And, man, he was so awesome on our podcast yesterday, a couple of days ago, excuse me. And, man, but to answer your question, man, I know what Auburn is. It's the greatest place that I've been. I've been to 2 games this year. Every time, and it's been depressing going there because there's no energy, there's no juice. We lost both games. I went to Penn State and I went to Arkansas. And it was just, this ain't the Auburn that I know. That Saturday night was the Auburn that I know. Like, everybody looks forward to going to Auburn football games. And like I say, I feel bad the way they treated Coach Harsin. He had no chance to be successful after last year. When all that stuff happened last year, it was already over. Like I say, I was disappointed the way they treated him overall. But I wish him nothing but the best. I have a good relationship with him. But I don't want all these fools on TV talking about Auburn in a bad way. And unfortunately, that's what's happening right now, and I hate it.
I'm sorry I didn't talk more during this interview. I've just been reflecting on our 30 years of friendship and how many times you did not stop the conversation at the table when I was talking. So I am less than Obama and Clinton in those types.
Yes, you
you never quite.
Well, I tell you what, hey, if Maggie wants to talk, I say, hey, shut up, Maggie's talking.
Charles, as always, thank you very much for the time. We greatly appreciate it. It's fun catching up with you.
Hey, man, you guys keep up the great work. Anytime you guys need me on, Lance, I'll see you this weekend.
Uh-oh. Are y'all getting together?
Are you going to be in town?
Yeah.
I'll be in New Orleans.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I know. We keep missing each other.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
See, y'all know who my favorite band is. I'm going. The Eagles are playing in Birmingham Monday night, right?
Yeah, I'll be here Monday.
Yeah, the Eagles are here.
The Eagles. Yeah, I always go. I've been traveling with the Eagles for like 30 years. So, and I know they're in Birmingham Monday night, so I'm going to the concert. So hit me when you get back.
I will. We're going to be with our friends at Bud Light at Top Golf on Monday at 5 o'clock, so you could come tailgate there or pregame and then go over to the concert.
You know what? Hit me up on Monday. I'm going to definitely do that with you.
We'll do it.
Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Charles.
All right, thanks for having me. Be safe.
All right, buddy. Take care. That is our friend Charles Barkley with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Go ahead and tell us about our friends at Johnston RV, and we'll jump into some of the stuff Charles was talking about.
Dropping bombs is what Charles was doing, man. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. They are cleaning out the 22s to make room for the 23s. That means they have slashed prices on things like the luxurious Sahara and Cardinal, as well as many others, up to $36,000 off on remaining model closeouts. You can see more at Johnston RV Center, JohnstonRVCenter.com, or I-65, exit 304 in Coleman and 334 in Decatur.
Yeah, there is a good chance, like you're saying in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room over there, that Charles and Nick Saban will be together watching the Eagles. That's one of Nick's favorite bands, too.
Ooh, Iron Bowl week, you think Saban comes over on a Monday? That's got Terry Bowden vibes. Remember he came to the James Taylor concert.
I have never seen the Eagles.
I haven't either. I don't know if I want to see this rendition of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just
is hell still freezing over? Wasn't that 1994?
Yeah. Well, some of those people have died. Rockstar.
Well, just Glenn Fry.
Just Glenn Fry. One of those people has died.
Rockstar.
I mean, it's pretty important.
I mean, him and Don Henley were the backbone.
I mean, we don't have any eggs, but let's still bake that damn cake.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
Is Vince Gill's son still singing? No, it's Glenn's son, right? Glenn Fry's son is fronting them?
I was never a big Eagles fan, but I think they're doing just fine in this tour. I think they're doing
good
just
for them.
fine.
I like their stuff. Yeah.
By the way, Leonard Skinner the other night was still playing. I saw somebody have to sit in playing lead guitar for Leonard Skinner. They're still out there.
That's a little different because they don't have one person.
Rockstar's one of his great lines of all time is the greatest Leonard Skinner cover band of all time is Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Yes. So you think he's talking about Texas A&M?
Yeah, I think he's talking about
A&M.
A&M.
I think Charles kind of tipped his hand there. A lot of people were thinking that State was going to can Leach.
I think it would be amazing if A&M is able to pull the trigger, suck up that $85 million, and really roll the dice with somebody like Primetime.
Well, I mean, his roots in Texas, not just playing with